Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. It is Tuesday, January 20th, and I need more creamer in this coffee. It is a little strong, but I might need some strong coffee this morning. Thank you to the wife for getting me some coffee as my dog is following her around. The markets are red, really red. I actually thought we might get a little pump up today because so much sold off yesterday. No, it is continuing on because everybody in the world, everybody and their mother is doubling down on tariffs and retaliation, and the world's on fire, and we're all going to be fine. We're going to drink our coffee and just be prepared. That's what we're going to do. So welcome to everyone. Good morning to all the alumni in the chat. We are on like day 6 of no Alex O crypto. My morning is just not the same anymore. But I did watch Piano Matty B this morning. So shout out to Piano Matty B if he's watching this later on. I found this from Piano Matty B. Look right there. Kenny, appreciate you, bro. Yeah, Piano Matty B dropping it for us. Thank you very much, my love. She brought me some coffee. Perfect, like you. I know. Perfect, like my wife. So yeah, shout out to Piano Matty B. Alexander G says, shout out to Mrs. Arby Piper and Gypsy. Much love. I was watching him this morning, and he was talking about the 90.6. We are way below that level right now, guys. So let's go ahead and let's get this thing started. Classes in session. You know what time it is. There you go. You know the time. And as always, guys, brought to you by the illustrious Chart Prime, the best indicators in the business. We actually just broke a key level on that. So let's go ahead and jump into that chart first, and then we'll get into all the news that we have to talk about. We lost our golden pocket. We lost it. I had a golden pocket. Has anyone seen my pocket? We used to tell people all the time, like in the military, we'd be walking by them. And we go, hey, you dropped your pocket, square yourself away. And they, what? I dropped my what? Yeah, we dropped the golden pocket. It's gone. We headed down, and I thought we might hold on to the quantum reactor here, sitting at about 90.6 WBTC. Shout out to Piano Matty B. WBTC right here at 90.6. No, we're continuing down, guys. We do have a bottom side VWAP down here as support. That's coming in at about $89,000. We'll wait and see what's going on there. But yeah, we had the setup yesterday for on a 4-hour at least for a move to the upside. Let me move that little screen there. There we go. You guys couldn't see it, but I could. It was blocking part of my chart. We had a little oversold down here. We had the uptrend. We went into transition. Things were looking up for us. And then we get all kinds of news today, sending us on a downside move. The markets are down actually quite a bit today. Even on the stock side, we'll see that here in just a few minutes. But we also, do have some gold and silver on the move to the upside. So yeah, the world is on fire right now when it comes to monetary policy and how they look at the United States. So and then, of course, as the thumbnail showed, people celebrating and partying. Max Euphoria is taking place right now. Matter of fact, it said retail is bullish, and that's the setup. So we're going to talk about what does that actually mean. Why is Army Piper holding a stop sign on a thumbnail, dynamic thumbnail? We'll talk about that too. But yeah, right now, guys, Bitcoin is selling off, down about 2.83% to the downside on the charts here. And again, I'm watching that 89,138 level. Before we get in on the news, let's go jump over to the chat. See who all's in here. Yep, Dusty, that's the first thing on my X marks the spot today, right there. No SCOTUS today. They decided not to make another call again on the tariffs. So Bitcoin is going to zero. Jesse Gellick said there. What's up, man? Alexander G's in the house. Mike Vollmer's in here with us. We got Dusty Hunt dropping that news for you. No SCOTUS today. We've also got the House of Trades official. Appreciate you being here. Loco for crypto. DJ Mackie Ollie. Top of the noon. Top of the noon to you, Governor. Who else we got in here? We got Kenny 123404C. I'm sure he's got a different name, but hey, that's what YouTube's been doing. Appreciate you being here, man. Piano Matty B, send him over. You know what it is. See you in here, John Newton official. Buenos dias, muchachos. How's it going, John Newton? Who else we got in here? Who else we got in here? Strong coffee all day over here. Harvey Piper. Man, you need some strong coffee for today. I'm going to tell you guys who's buying the dip right now, too, today. I'll give you that in a moment. And it's not gold and silver. It's pretty interesting. Play on words, but you'll see what I'm talking about when I get there. Who else we got? Mike Play in here. I think I gave you a shout out already. CJ Taylor, that's my brother, my actual literal brother. Appreciate him being in here. Clyde, good to see you. Good morning to you also. In Crypto Coin Mindset. If you guys aren't following Crypto Coin Mindset, Keith, make sure you guys give him a follow. I always support people in the community that support me. So Piano Matty B, Alexander G, there's a whole list of people at the end of the show in the credits that I give shouts out to. Those are the people that are good to follow. As Piano Matty B said this morning, anybody that's been in crypto for a couple of years should know who Army Piper is. He was talking about me, and I'm talking about myself in third person. That's weird. Anyway, he said because I give it to people straight, hard, cold facts, and that's it. There's no opium. There's no copium. It's just data, right? And that's what we do here. So I appreciate the kind words over there. But we got 48 people right now watching on YouTube, 56 total if we include X. I appreciate all of you guys. Don't forget to smash the like button. And if you get anything out of today's content, make sure you guys subscribe. Let's go jump over to the news. And let's get in there, talk about all the news that you need to know today. I need to readjust my screen there. There we go. Yeah, you are on the wrong screen there, guy. How about we do that and then we do that. There we go. Perfect. Now we have the news up there. Let's go get it on the ITC into the Cryptoverse dashboard, guys. I love the metrics that I get off of this site. So every morning we come in here and we break it down for you. Looking at the crypto market cap right now, sitting at $3.044 trillion. The mean trend, the fair value right now for the total crypto market cap is at $4.725 trillion. We are currently undervalued right now as a total market cap from fair value by 35.5%. And continuing to drop, guys, just so you know. Looking at the Bitcoin risk metrics this morning, sitting at a 41.2% risk band. For those that are in the Discord, they know what that means, and you know what that means for your DCAs this week. With stablecoin, Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 59.06%. Without the stablecoin, 65.43%. Bitcoin dominance continuing to the upside, guys, which I thought it would. When we went below 65, I said, yeah, we're going back. We're going back. We're going back in time to a time when Bitcoin dominance was higher. Looking at the 24-hour liquidations here on CoinGlass data. According to CoinGlass data, in the past 24 hours, 138,441 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $575.31 million. Largest single liquidation happened on Hyperliquid. It was an ETH trade for a very low $6.8 million on a single trade. No big deal. No big deal. How about longs versus shorts? Right now, guys, most people are short. 50.96% of the exchanges are sitting in shorts versus 49.04% sitting in longs. More people are bearish right now than bullish on their trades. So that could mean we get a little bounce, just to be fair. Contrarian to the norms. All right. Yeah, there's that thing that Dusty Hump was talking about, Kabisi letter. 13 minutes ago, breaking news, the U.S. Supreme Court decides to not issue a highly anticipated ruling on the legality of President Trump's tariffs today. This marks the third straight time that the ruling was not released as expected. They don't want to talk about it. They're like, can we just not talk about this? Because it's going to hurt. Steve Hickey, Piper Army, little late, guts. Hey, friends, what's up, Steve Hickey? Appreciate you being here, man. Better late than never. Better late than never. Fear and greed today sitting at 32. Bitcoin and crypto back in fear. 32 on there. We returned right back to it. We were in greed just not that long ago, guys. Less than a week ago, we were in greed. Now we're back into fear. That's our sweet spot lately. This is from Lewis Raskin. I met this guy from Crypto Princess. We're going to be redirecting to her, by the way, today. She's talking about silver. But yeah, Lewis Raskin, I met him over there. Hot take that's very contrarian and bearish. Has Bitcoin topped forever? And he's got an interesting take here. Why? Because everyone who wanted to buy it already did. At this point, if someone hasn't bought Bitcoin, they're either mentally redacted or so vehemently against it that they'll never buy it. First of all, the most intelligent people in the world have already bought it. Then everyone who was smart and just didn't know about it before ended up buying it. And then everyone who was smart and didn't have any money, but then came into money, ended up buying it. And then everyone who was smart and doesn't have a gigantic ego bought it. And then everyone who was able to be convinced to buy it ended up buying it. And then governments bought it, banks bought it, sovereign wealth funds bought it. There's literally no one else to buy it. I disagree. I still think because you're looking at this like, hey, I got a refrigerator. I don't need another refrigerator. I think people want more Bitcoin. So they're going to continue to add to their Bitcoin. So just my opinion. I mean, he does have a point most people have bought, which is why we have a Kager that drops. Shout out to P.O. Matabi. The Kager is depreciating every single cycle. That's why is because the people that wanted to buy bought early, and people are still buying it, but at a less amount each cycle. So I don't necessarily agree with what he said there, but it was a pretty interesting take nonetheless. Danish member of the European Parliament to Trump 40 minutes ago. This is what he said to President Trump. Let me make sure. Yep, we got it. Cool. And let's go play this thing so you can hear what he had to say.
Thank you. Urmează domnul Anders Vistisen.
Let me put this in words you might understand. Mr. President, fuck off.
There you go. So strong words coming out of the Danish member of European Parliament. Yeah, evidently that's the world stance today. But good luck paying for your health care when you have to build your military up. That's all I got to say about that. Kabisi letter. Breaking news. Natural gas prices. Here's the buy the dip reference. Buy the dip reference here, guys. Natural gas. People are buying the dip on the weather that's about to hit the United States. If you guys don't know, there's a massive winter storm getting ready to hit. Matter of fact, on Saturday, I'm supposed to be driving to Galveston at the shoreline of Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico, whatever the hell we're calling it today. But I'm supposed to be driving down there on Saturday to catch my cruise. I'm in Dallas. And it looks like at this point, I may be driving through a winter ice storm and sleet and snow to get to the cruise ship in Texas because Saturday it's going to be hitting hard. But who's buying the dip on that weather, that temperature drop? It's natural gas, guys. Natural gas price surged 28% as an Arctic air mass approaches the U.S., now on track for the third largest daily gain in history. Temperatures will be up to 25 degrees Fahrenheit below the average in the Northeast, Midwest, and the South, evidently. So, yeah, 28%. So, as I said in Randy Hipper's stream a little while ago, if you guys are looking at buying the dips on any of the stocks, crypto, the Bitcoin, so the whatever, or you're just looking to add to your gold and silver, you might want to save a little bit of cash because I think your energy bill is going to be up a little bit next month. Just my opinion. There's a prediction for you. Next week, be prepared for a higher gas bill. And that matters for even those that are not cold, Alexander G. It might be 74 there, but trust me, California's going to find a way to tack on your higher energy use bill or higher energy costs from global natural gas going up just for you to pay there in California. They didn't even have to use more gas. So just be aware, guys. What else do we have here? Speaking on the sidelines of today's summit for the World Economic Forum. Yay, don't we all love the West? You will own nothing and be happy about it. In Switzerland, Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever said, we as Europe must tell Trump this far and no further. Back down or we'll go all the way. Stating that the defense spending in Europe must be increased, adding about recent threats by President Trump threatening NATO allies with military intervention on NATO territory is so unprecedented that you are really approaching a breaking point. Being a happy vassal is one thing. Being a miserable slave is something else. Like I said, enjoy your free healthcare because doing what you have here, right? That you're going to have to put more money into defense spending. That's the money that you don't have to spend because of the U.S.'s existence. That is giving you the ability to have free healthcare. So I think if they had to spend money to protect themselves from that big country that's right there by them, I can't remember the name of it. It's something. Russia, that's the name of it. Yeah, I think as soon as you don't have the military of the U.S. in that NATO piece, that you have to start building up your military to protect yourself against that, then you probably have a lot less money for healthcare. Just my 2 cents. My strong opinion. But shout out here to the House of Trades. He said, "Keep doing what you do," and I salute you, Army Piper. I appreciate you, man. Little heart on there. Perfect. I appreciate that a whole lot, man. Seriously. Dropping a 20, is that euro? Is that 20 euro? I think that's a euro super chat, but I appreciate you very much, man. That is very kind of you. And we'll pass it on to the team. So, what else we have here on this front? MicroStrategies. Guess what they did? They bought more Bitcoin. Shocker. They bought 22,305 Bitcoin for $2.13 billion at about $95,000, $95,284 per Bitcoin. They now have 709,715 Bitcoin. Average price, 75,979. Guys, we're not that far from that price, but don't worry. Euro. Appreciate that, bro. I should have known that. I was just in Europe for 2 weeks. So I should have known that. So yeah. Hey, currency identifiers across the room. I don't know. I should have known that though. I just spent literally 2 weeks there. Although I was a little bit surprised that I needed the Swiss franc when I was down in Switzerland and not euro. That was kind of interesting. You guys have to explain that nuance to me and why that was that way. But yeah, Bitcoin, buying more. They don't have, what I was just saying, they don't have to worry about, the price of their average Bitcoin because a lot of it's on convertibles. And so because of those convertibles, they don't expire. Oh, dude, I loved it. House of Trades, I loved it. Europe was amazing. I had a great time. Hit all the Christmas markets up and down the Rhine River. Went to, I'm a big fan now of France, Strasbourg. Love that city. But yeah, their contracts don't expire until like 2027, 2028. So they're fine. President Trump, here's where more of this comes in at the caused all this shakeout today, guys. President Trump threatens 200% tariffs on France after France's President Macron declines to join his border peace. In response to Macron saying he will not join the Board of Peace, Trump, if they feel hostile, I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes. That's 200% tariffs on my wife's wine. You're going to cost me money, Mr. President. Can you slow your roll? Thanks. OSET Defender, massive demonstrations tonight. More geopolitical, guys. The so what on this? Will do. Yeah, I plan on going back. Absolutely. They didn't join the euro. Bullshit. Got it. Good to know. They have their own currency because they hate the euro. So massive demonstrations tonight by Kurds in front of the U.S. consulate in Erbil. Been there many times. Northern Iraq protesting what they see as inaction by the United States to the ongoing offensive by the Syrian army against the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, the SDF, in northeastern Syria. Guys, these are our allies, if you don't know. Very strong allies. I worked actually training the Kurdish up in Erbil, northern Iraq, northern Syria area back in 2015, 2016 on personnel recovery. And yeah, they're amazing. I love the Peshmerga. If you don't know anything about the YPJ, you should check them out. We're an all-female Kurdish unit that were hunting down ISIS because they felt that if they got taken off of this planet by a female, that they would not have their forever in heaven. And so, yeah, we absolutely supported them also. But yeah, it's just another one of those. It's another one of those geopolitical tensions that you got to keep your finger on the pulse of. Not necessarily going to be seeing, us run over there to their aid immediately, but don't be surprised if we don't start dropping some weapons, ammo, food, supplies, stuff like that over there for them, because they have been a very, very staunch ally to the United States and all of our stuff over there, going all the way back to Desert Storm. So we'll talk about this in a little bit. This is the thumbnail today from the Kabisi letter. Retail investor bullish sentiment is through the roof. Let's go take a look at the TradFi side. Give this a refresh. Make sure we got the most recent up-to-date stuff in here. They are. I love those guys. DDT, what's up, man? Dow Jones is currently down about 9.6%, about a 1% move there to the downside. S&P down 1%. NASDAQ was down almost 2% this morning, guys. Now down 1.34%. And the Russell 2K taking a dump ski down 1.25%. Look at the volatility index, guys. Over 17, cranked up to 18.9, and it is selling off, causing a lot of volatility in the sell-off right now. Let's take a look at the bonds. Actually, I want to see the Europe markets. Yeah, there's your Europe stock markets overnight too, guys. All in the red. The Asia markets, all in the red. So for everyone out there that's looking through X and going, okay, who's selling my Bitcoin? Why is it dumping? Just tell them to go over and look at the U.S. markets all in the red, the Europe markets all in the red, the Asia markets all in the red. I hate the narrow-sightedness of crypto people, man. They go, it's manipulation, or it's the composite man, or, why is someone targeting all this? Why are the banks targeting my Bitcoin right now and making it sell off? Guys, look at the big picture. It's a risk asset. It's going to sell off when risk assets go into risk off mode. So yeah, this is what it is. Just people drive me nuts, man. They drive me nuts, but that's okay. Let's go take a look at what's going on, though, with bonds market. Oh, look, it's green. What does that mean? It means it's bad. It's selling off. That's why it's going up. The yield rate is going up because people are selling the U.S. bonds right now. A lot of countries, to include a lot of people in Europe, a lot of nations in Europe, getting rid and selling off their U.S. Treasury. As trade wars reignite, U.S. trade yields jump because people are selling off, and now we're seeing it higher. So, yeah, shout out to mortgage rates. You're not going to get a mortgage cheaper anytime soon. Just my other 2 cents. I'm just going to keep giving you guys 2 cents. Pennies are worthless now anyway, so I can just give them all to you. Looking at gold and silver. Gold is sitting at $4,728.
I love gold.
Good Lord. $4,700 an ounce, guys. It's continuing to the upside, up 2.91% today. Silver actually getting a little pullback. This was sitting at about $95 earlier. It's about 93.41 now, 45, up 5% today. Copper on a slight pullback here. Platinum and palladium also rocketing today. Platinum is up 4.83% today on this news as the markets sell off. Again, Dow Jones dropped 700 points as Trump's Greenland scheme sparks U.S. capital flight, fear of global trade war. And just there's a part in here. Trump then threatened to impose that 200% on French wines. We know about that. On the other side of the trade deficit, there are capital and capital wars going on. The World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, that was said by Dalio there. If you take the conflicts, you can't ignore the possibility of capital wars. In other words, maybe there's not the same inclination to buy U.S. debt and so on, which is how that's our treasury yield, if you guys don't know. That's how we print money. When people say they're going to start turning on the printers, they can't turn on the printers if nobody's buying our yields. So even if we create T-bills and go, hey, guys, would you like to buy our T-bills out there? And they go, yeah, no, we don't want that. Then what you're seeing is them not taking our debt, which means we are not printing new money. So when you hear people say they turn on a printer, it's not like they go, turn on the printer, we're done. No, they're selling T-bills. They create treasury bonds to sell to other countries so that they can buy them to get a yield return on it, aka our debt. It's our number one export in the U.S. And then that it creates new money in the system. That's the money printer. So if you guys don't know, now you know. Thank you for coming today to the Academy for some education. But yeah, this means no money printer coming soon based on that data that we're seeing there. Looking at the crypto market today, guys, Bitcoin currently sitting right now $90,600. Hey, it's Keto Matty B's 90.6 WBTC. Down 2.4% today. Ethereum down 5.5%. BNB is down 2.2%. XRP 3.1% downside. and Solana down 4.2%. Look at USDC moving up, guys. We haven't had USDC in this top 5 mix for a hot minute because Tether was up here and USDC was down. A lot of people switching over to their stable coins, and we saw that on that Bitcoin dominance earlier. Right now, that's rounding out the top 5 minus the stable coins with Solana there. But let's look at these other big movers here. Monero down 12.3% today. But look at Canton Network. And I do apologize for missing on this one. Eric Ball and Wallet, if you're watching this later, bro, you called it. Canton Network up 17.9% today, despite a 12.5% weekly pullback. It's still up on the monthly by 23%. Canton Network moving up the charts here to number 22, up 4 slots. 4 spots on the top 100 list there. Let's go take a look at the economic calendar and take a look at what's happening today. Not a whole lot. ADP employment change. We should have had that this morning. Let's do that. 8K. Wow. Wow. They added 8 jobs this week in comparison to 11.25. Seeing some weakness there. Is this a revision? It is. It's 11.75. So even that dropped from last week. This is a weekly report, guys. Came in at 8K, down quite a bit from what we've been seeing on the weeklies. I guess, yeah, it's the lowest that we've had since November 22nd on weekly changes here. What else do we have? 3-month bill auctions that's coming in later today. This here, this is how we offload debt. That right there, those auctions. And then tomorrow, guys, we are going to get some data coming in, pending home sales, stuff like that. But we're also going to be getting on Thursday GDP growth rate, PCE, core PCE and regular PCE, which is going to be inflation data, right? And then on Friday, we're going to get more inflation. Matter of fact, let me go to 2 stars here so I can isolate some of the BS out of here. On Friday, we're going to get some PMI flashes coming in from global composite manufacturing and services. This is producer inflation. So this is a precursor that says, hey, look, it was 51.8. It's contraction. I mean, it's expansion still. That's a good thing. It's above 50, but it's going higher, which means that they're seeing inflation on their end to manufacture and do services, which is going to be passed on to you, the consumer, meaning that our inflation likely going higher too. And if you guys remember, I'll show you the chart in a little bit, but we had a thing about last week where we were talking about why it's important for the Fed to monitor inflation and not raise rates too quickly. Because if you put that overlay of where we were in the 70s, we are about at the breakout spot where inflation rears its ugly head again. And the last thing you want to do is cut rates into sticky or not dropping at least inflation, whether it's going up or just going sideways. You cut rates, and then all of a sudden, what comes next? Bam, inflation goes up again, and then you have to start raising rates. You want to talk about a market shakeout. That's a 1970s event, and your markets will dump hard. Looking at a chance for a rate cut right now, guys, 5%. Let me refresh it, make sure it's still accurate. Yeah, 5% chance of a rate cut this month. March, what are we looking at? 21.5% chance of a rate cut. And then in April, 36.1. We don't get a chance of a rate cut go above 50% until June. That is after Jerome Powell is changed out, and we have a new Trump-appointed Fed Reserve chairman in there, and that's June is what we're looking at for that. Amazon CEO Jassy says Trump tariffs have started to creep into price. And again, guys, things are going to be getting more expensive, I think. I believe so. And we're sitting here seeing that they're seeing it on their end that they're going to start passing it on to us, meaning inflation could be hitting even higher again. So again, going back to that chart, and I will show that in a minute. If I forget to, let me know. We'll talk about this in a bit if we have time. The minimum savings needed to retire at 65 in every U.S. state. It's over $2 million in Hawaii, by the way. But this is a pretty interesting article about how much you need. We'll look at that if we have time. But also, this is a really interesting story, guys, that I wanted to bring to you. 35-year-old brings in around $60,000 a year and lives rent-free by pet sitting full-time. Everything they own fits in 2 suitcases. The story is part of CNBC's Make It a Millennial Money series. 35-year-old financial coach has lived in Portland, Oregon since August, but you're unlikely to find them at a particular address more than a few weeks. Stover, who uses they, them pronouns, why do I need to know this? Why the fuck do I need to know this? Just give me the data. Has spent the past 18 months working remotely while booking a steady string of in-home pet sitting gigs in lieu of renting their own place. For someone like Stover, an animal lover who has had their share of tricky roommate experiences, the lifestyle comes with some obvious upsides, a major one being not having to pay for costs. So basically, this person just goes around the country pet sitting, makes $60,000 a year, and doesn't have to pay any rent. So there are ways to make it. You just got to be a little bit smarter than what the economy is giving you to get out there and make it. So let me go over here to the chart. I'm gonna find this art. I'm gonna pull up this, and then I'm gonna pull up and find that picture where I was talking about the inflation, because I think that's something important for you guys to see and understand. Is that it? Are you it? You be it. You be it right there. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Don't need that up here. But this is the picture that I was talking about on why the Fed needs to be very careful with their inflation data. My little dog just came in to see me. I appreciate that. Thanks, Gypsy. Um, and I just dropped the picture. Come back, baby, come back. All right. So this is the inflation from 1970 overlaid on top of the current from 2013 to 2025. Yellow being the current one, blue being 1966 to 1982. And you can see we're almost mirroring this cycle perfectly. Right now, we're in this downward consolidation. We had a little bit of consolidation there back. And this was looking like 1978 here time period is where we got another spike in this. Guys, this would be in line with what we're seeing right now. 2025, 2026, because this line here on this thing, this is 2024 and 1977. That breakout there would be 1978. So 1 year later, 2025 into 2026 is where we would see this spike up. And if that happens, of course, they don't want to be cutting rates into that world and then have to raise rates again to fight inflation. So yeah, that's why they're being very cautious. Looking at the Bitcoin chart right now, we are seeing that we are holding back into that dynamic or quantum reactor that we were talking about earlier. We do have a wick down here. It looks like the sell pressure is continuing though. Be aware, as I said at the beginning, $89,000 is going to be a key support area in my opinion. Let's go over here and take a look at silver right now, getting a little pullback on silver after hitting that phase 2, $94.39 area. I'm watching, honestly, $92 would be a key level. You can see here, put on a little cross line on that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Right in there. Yep. About $92.67. That level there is previous support here from last week into for this week, and then resistance from last week. So that's going to be a key level. If we lose that, watch for us to come down to the platinum pocket again. It's going to be your 887 here, about $89, and that would be a good area in my opinion to get some. If you guys remember though, a couple weeks ago when we were pumped up and coming back down, I said, watch this block here, and I put that on before any of this took place. Yep, that would have been your time to buy in. Silver at that time, guys, was sitting at about $70 per ounce. So silver is continuing its rip to the upside. Taking a look at gold here. Gold, not seeing as big of a pullback on gold right now, which is why I do believe we're going to see silver take off again. $5,000 gold, $5,000 gold, guys. This has been our narrative since it hit 3,000. I said, if it hits 3,000, we're going to 5,000, and it's continuing to the upside. Nobody wants to buy risk assets right now, evidently. Gold is the place to be. So a lot of nations picking it up, a lot of people picking it up. And it was an article yesterday. Let's go back over here. There was an article yesterday. It wasn't an article. I guess it was a post and some other headlines on it. Talking about the United States demanding delivery of silver from the citizens. And they basically said this is a possibility because silver was added onto the critical materials and assets list by the United States government this week. And silver adding that on there might be a precursor to them getting a little bit. You might put on your tinfoil hat right now. but that might be a precursor to them saying, you know what, we need to make sure that we have all the available silver we can get our hands on for future technological buildup and so on and so forth. And could be saying, hey, you guys are going to have to turn in your silver for cash value, fair trade value with premium. They did this with gold before, so it'd be interesting to see how that all works out. All right, let's go over and get into X marks the spot, and let's talk about that thumbnail today, guys, because we need to address this. So looking here at this list lineup here, guys, we got retail sales, retail investors bullish on sentiment is through the roof, 49.5%. And this all sounds bullish, but let me finish. 49.5% of individual investors expressed a bullish market outlook over the next 6 months in the latest AAII survey, the highest since November of 2024. This marks the sixth week of the last 7 during which bullish sentiment has remained above the long-term average of 37.5%. Pause for the cause. Need some coffee there. Meanwhile, bearish sentiment fell to 28.2%. It's the second lowest that it's been since 2024. This marks the third consecutive weekly reading below the average of 31%. Bullish sentiment has now outpaced bearish sentiment for 7 consecutive weeks, the longest streak in 14 months. Retail investors are historically bullish. Let's talk about what this is. I got a little headline here, little script put together here on all of this breakdown. So let's start with the bullish case, because on the surface, this data looks great, right? According to the latest AAII survey, almost half of all individual investors, 49.5%, are bullish on the stock market over the next 6 months. That's the highest reading we've seen since late 2024 and well above the long-term average of 37.5. From a bullish perspective, this makes sense. Markets have held up, dips have been bought, recession fears haven't materialized the way many expected, and investors feel more confident than they have in a while. Bearish sentiment has dropped to 28.2%, below its historic average, and bulls have outnumbered bears 7 weeks in a row. So if you're bullish, this feels like confirmation. It gives you confirmation bias, right? It feels like momentum. It feels like the market is proving the doubters wrong. But this is where sentiment data stops being comforting and starts being dangerous. Because sentiment doesn't tell you how strong the market is. It tells you how positioned it already is. When bullish sentiment stays elevated for weeks at a time, it usually means most of the buying has already stopped. Confidence is high, not because risk is low, but because people believe risk no longer matters. And markets don't tend to break when people are scared. They tend to break when people are comfortable. And that's what we're seeing right now. That's where an old Wall Street story becomes relevant. There's a famous anecdote from the late 1920s involving Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. He talked about getting his shoes shined in New York when a shoe shine boy started confidently giving him stock tips. Kennedy later said that was the moment he knew it was time to get out of the market, not because optimism was wrong, but because everyone was already optimistic. When the shoe shine boy was given advice, he meant the risk had fully migrated downstream. There were no new buyers left to convert. That's not an insult to retail investors. It's a statement about psychology. And that's why this AAII data we just looked at matters. We're not talking about crash call. We're not talking about the end of the bull market. We're talking about fragility, and the markets are fragile right now. Just like in that story, when confidence becomes universal, markets don't need bad news to fall. They only need something less good than expected. When the people are bullish, beware of the bear. Facts, David B. What's up there? We got Brumbelow in the house. Appreciate you, man. That's why periods like this tend to produce sharp volatility spikes. We're seeing that right now. Grinding pullbacks that catch people off guard while sentiment stays bullish the entire time. So when you see the title of today's show talking about a potential drop, this is the context behind it. It's not fear. It's not doom. It's just positioning, psychology, and history rhyming. Sentiment is elevated, doesn't tell you what happened next. It just tells you that risk is no longer cheap. And that's what I got for you guys today. Appreciate everyone that joined me here on the show. Oh, no, I'm not going to leave you. Baby, come back. Let's go over this. Let's talk about this real fast. Minimum savings needed to retire at 65 in every U.S. state. We'll just go through it quickly here. I'll scroll through Alabama, $53,000. We'll say $54,000 is what you need to live. Keep in mind, the methodology on this is at 65 minus the average Social Security check. So if you're planning on retiring in the future, this is what it says you need right now. Tack on inflation, 2.6% on this. Annual cost of living in Alabama, $54,000. You need about $789,000 in your savings so that you can pull and draw 4% on top of your Social Security. Alaska, there's Alaska's numbers, some other big ones in here, and you guys can come back through and read this later if you want to see what your state is. I'm just going to scroll through it, but I'll talk about the big ones as we go. Arizona, you need $1 million there. California, you need $1.5 million in savings. Your average cost of living is $83,978. I doubt that number is correct, but hey, we'll go with it. Maybe if you live in like someone's outhouse behind their mansion, maybe $83,000 a year. $1 million in Colorado is what you need. $1.1 million in Connecticut. Delaware, $1 million. Florida, $967,000. Still pretty high, actually. Georgia's at 848,000. That's pretty low. Hawaii, 2.2 million, man. 2.2 million. Idaho, you need about 959,000. Illinois, you need about 900,000. Indiana, 830. I'm from Indiana originally. I would never move back to this hellhole. Screw you, Indiana. Although the Hoosiers are doing pretty good right now. But yeah, not the state. I don't want to go back to the state at all. Iowa, 800,000. Kansas, 800,000 range. Kentucky. Yeah, most of these states are in the $800,000 range. Maine's at 1.19 million. Maryland, 1.2. Of course, that's really close to DC, and who in the hell wants to live in Maryland? Their gun laws suck. Massachusetts, 1.7 million. Michigan, pretty cheap. Of course, if you live up there, you could be in that 100-car crash up. Did you guys see that? That was crazy. I'll never retire. I'm supposed to be now. Kenny, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's going to be the case for a lot of people, honestly, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are going to be unable to retire. They're going to work the whole life on gig work and stuff like that because they're what was supposed to retire them will not be able to. Montana, 1.1 million. Nebraska, 800,000. Nevada, 953,000. Of course, I think it's more than that because if you live in Nevada, you're probably going to Vegas. New Hampshire, 1.1 million. New Jersey, 1.2 million. New Mexico in the $800,000 range. New York is 1.3 million. North Carolina, 900,000. North Dakota, 800,000. Ohio, 800,000 range. Oklahoma, 735,000. Cheap living in Oklahoma, man. Of course, you got tornadoes and stuff up there, but hey, it's flat. It's ugly in some spots. Oregon, 1.1 million. Pennsylvania, 930,000. Rhode Island, 1.1 million. South Carolina in that 800,000 range, along with South Dakota, Tennessee. Texas is in that ballpark also. Utah at 961,000. Vermont is 1.1 million. Virginia in that almost a million mark. And Washington State at 1.1 million. West Virginia, that's another cheap one. Who wants to live in West Virginia? That's beautiful up there. It's beautiful, but I don't know that I want to live there in the winter. Wisconsin, almost $1 million. In Wyoming, 900,000. So there you go. You guys can come back and look through that later on, see what your average state is for cost of living and what you need to retire. But as it sits right now, not looking good. Let's go check out the chat before we get out of here. See if anybody's got any comments. 1 to 2 million from the life expectancy of 65. Yep, exactly. That's it. Alexander G said I'm screwed. No, you can just Alexander G. You can move in with Amy and I. We'll move you in. We'll all three retire together and drink tea, eat cookies. Or as they say in the UK, the biscuits. We'll have biscuits. I'm screwed. No. I will never retire, Kenny said. We already talked about that. Ooh, steak. You saw that on the side? The steak? Yeah, I did too. Hey, here's what you need to retire. You don't get to eat any of this if you do. Check Florida, please. Steve Hickey. Florida, did you see it? Do you want me to go over it again? Let's see here. Florida. Annual cost of living, $61,125. You need $967,000 to retire there, Steve Hickey. When the people are bullish, beware of the bear. There you go. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all joining me. 91 people watching right now, total 64 on YouTube, and then we got a bunch over on X. So if you guys are on X, come join us over on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, and hit that notification bell. Get notified every time we go live. OC may or may not be live tonight. He was moving back to get set up back at his house. He was in Cozumel, and now he's back at his house in the other part of the Yucatan Peninsula. So he might be live tonight. Make sure you guys tune in the morning time. Blackie Chan's been on there with JR, and they've been doing a great morning show on Good Morning Crypto right here on the Piper Academy Network. And then we'll be back at 10 a.m. Eastern, or 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, the headlines, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Just cold, hard facts here, people. That's all we're going to give you. No hopium, no shilling, just data, so that you guys can have that knowledge. Until next time, guys, trade safe, use some risk management, peace, love, profits. We're heading over to Crypto Princess right after this. When you get over, drop the graduation caps on your emojis. Let them know the alumni has entered the building. Later, guys.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
They don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out. 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 Out.
Boom shakalaka!
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?